Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Startup Heroes. Today, we're doing a special edition of Zero to Hero, all about community and networking. Why? Why, you guys? We got something special going on? Yes, we do. We're going to be launching our very first monthly, what is called Coffee Break. So this is our monthly community builder event. Some people will call it networking, but we're going to explore why we're not going to use the word networking today, the associations people have with it, why it led us to changing our name to Coffee Break and what it used to be, as well as some helpful tips so that you can navigate your next community building or networking event. So guys, how's it going? Opening thoughts on just community. What does community mean to you? Let's open with that.
I love my friends, my community, my friends, my peers, the people I work with. I'd be nothing without them. That's what I think about it.
No, you'd be lonely.
I'd be lonely. Then it would just be lonely.
You would be lonely. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Nate?
Yeah, to me, community, what it really means is that sense of belonging that I think a lot of people, especially today, are looking for and having trouble finding. Especially people, I think, like in me and Dylan's generation, and even like a little younger, people are looking for that sense of they have a purpose and like they are a part of something bigger than themselves. And I think that's super valuable. I think it's something that I hate to say this as like a marketer, but I think something that social media to an extent has had like a huge impact on negatively. I also think that it's something that is on its way back, that a lot of people nowadays are talking about the idea of, recreating the town square and bringing back the idea of like people coming together. So I definitely think it's something we're going to see keep growing more in the future. And I'm glad that we're going to be a part of that, hopefully.
Yeah. What Nate said. No, I'm just kidding. We're a little silly today, guys. We've had a lot of conversations, a lot about this, but to add on to what they said, I think community is just, if you've seen the show Cheers, that feeling of getting there and everyone knows your name, or knows who you are, or just knows that you exist and you feel like you matter. And that's what feels good, both as on the receiving end and the giving end. There's, as you guys know, I'm a huge Simon Sinek fanboy, so much so yeah, one of my cats' name is Simon, but he has a podcast called A Bit of Optimism that we've talked about extensively on here, I think. But there's two episodes that really stand out to me, and one of them is really weird that I'm about to talk about it. But there's an episode where he interviews this woman who interviewed and reported on the KKK. And the reason she did this was because she was really confused on how a group could have so much hate and vitriol, etc. And she found out that at the core of it, these people just wanted a place to be, and this completely misguided connection ended up there. And she was a minority woman, and so was not welcome at the events, but she kept showing up, and they eventually realized that she was there to do what she wanted to do and not to judge them or anything. She was there to see them as people. And it ended up to where the leader at the time of the KKK ended up leaving because of how she treated him so well. And he was like, I don't understand why you're treating me with love and like seeing me as a person, and then couldn't reconcile those two differences. So this is a really heavy way to start this conversation, but the community is so important that it leads people to do the worst things imaginable just to feel like they're part of a group. So let's take that way back and just say community is feeling like you're part of something that matters.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, Chris. And I think, and this isn't a political podcast, we aren't going to get political, but I definitely think that's why a lot of folks these days find themselves falling into such like polarized groups and stuff like that, is because they're looking for that. And that's a source, I think, it sounds stupid, but I think that's a source of division, honestly, these days, is the fact that people don't have community. So it leads to them falling down these rabbit holes and into like these echo chambers and stuff like that. So that's why building stuff like this, while we might be doing it with a perspective of wanting to do it for businesses and nonprofits and folks like that, this is stuff that everyone should be a part of, and the kind of stuff that everyone really needs to want to be like a part of and involved with.
Kind of like the you are who you hang out with kind of thing.
Yeah, so to wrap up the opening question, and kind of going off of all the rest everyone else has said, for me, community growing up was whoever I was around in school, because that's where we all hang out with the most amount of people. And I just was kind of obsessed with having relationships with everyone. I was like, the more people I have, the more I'm fulfilled, and that's good. But over time, I've kind of knee-jerked the other direction, where sometimes I go too much, where I hang alone by myself. But the thing is, anytime I go into the cave and I'm doing all my creative stuff and whatnot, I always come out of the cave and I'm like, life feels pointless until like I add the spice of true friends. So not the community I had in like middle school and high school, but people that like have shared values, that like have shared aspirations, that care about similar things. And then when I'm around those kind of people, it's like, I don't have to just like pretend, hang out and be nice to everyone. Like I get to talk to people that I actually really want to talk to. And that is like community to me now, which is really cool. It's like community that I get to choose and that chooses me back.
I like the term tribe, like finding your tribe. I think finding value-based tribal members is so fun. The other episode on A Bit of Optimism is him interviewing Seth Godin, who's this like marketing guru. And I think the episode is called like The Value of Love or something like that. But it's talking about how, so Simon Sinek's favorite holiday apparently is Thanksgiving, to the point where he's super obsessed with it. And he had a Friendsgiving where he went over to someone's house, and apparently the guy tried to make it super like culinarily crazy, and turkey with caviar and all this crazy stuff. And he basically was complaining to Seth Godin about it because he just wanted a normal, good Thanksgiving, and the guy ruined all of it. And so like 3 months later, he went over to Seth Godin's house for dinner, and Seth and his wife had made a full like normal Thanksgiving dinner for Simon, the full shebang. And the craziest part is Seth Godin is a vegetarian, so he couldn't even eat most of the food that they had made, but he knew how much it mattered to Simon. And so in the episode, Simon talks about how seen and valued he felt from that small act of kindness. And I just love that. And what we try to do with Be Caffeinated and all the things that we're involved in is try and make people feel like they matter, they value, they're seen. And I love interacting with people that have a similar mindset, but just finding something that someone really cares about and remembering it, and then, calling back on it in the future, because people are like, oh, you like actually listen to me, you actually care, you actually see me as a person and not just another number. So that's what, to me, community is, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking to that,
yep.
I don't remember where I heard this. It feels very Simon Sinek-y, so maybe we'll credit to him, even though maybe it was someone else. But they were talking about one of the biggest ways to help people like feel connected to, and like you actually saw them and heard them, was that when someone gives you a recommendation to like a book or music or a movie or whatever, that you actually go consume it, so that then you see them again. You're like, hey, by the way, I listened to this thing, or I watched that thing. And I know for me, that always makes me feel like, oh my gosh, you went and watched that obscure thing that's my favorite, but you don't have to love it as much, but at least you watched it. That's really good. So yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, there's like psychologically, there's like a benefit that people get whenever they can share something and then someone consumes it and reports back to them positively, which is why if you're listening to this podcast, you should share it, because the people you share it with will be like, whoa, that's crazy. And then you can be like, yeah, I know.
That was a good one.
That's good.
Nice.
But yeah, psychologically, seriously, there's a aspect of like why shares are the most important metric that social media marketers look at, because people who share things take like that extra step to share with their friends, their community, people they care about and want to educate in a way.
Yeah.
And then intrinsically, they feel important that someone gets value from something they shared, even though they didn't teach them directly.
Really, if you look at anthropologically, humans, the very beginnings are sharing of stories and like, caveman drawings and stuff. And now it's just in the form of memes and videos. But so yeah, last week we set up this event at Fiamma, which is an awesome pizza place on the North Shore. They also do paninis. We just invited some people out from different industries and kind of posited the question of what is good networking, what is bad networking, what do you want networking to look like, what do you not want it to look like. We found out that the word networking is not bueno.
Yeah.
People don't like it. And we had someone point out as well that people like to, when you ask them questions or surveys or stuff, they like it for them to know that it mattered and call them out. So Ross Katayama, if you're watching this, we took what you guys said and we changed our name. We're no longer Gig City Networking. We spent a lot of time on it, way too much time, and went on these completely crazy directions and then just landed where we should have probably landed at first. But what's our new name, guys?
Coffee break.
Yeah, so we're Coffee Break Chattanooga, Coffee Break. Our website is happycoffeebreak.com. Yeah, we really love the mouthfeel of Creative Mornings, and I think a lot of the people at Fiamma agreed, and just how it's soft and inspiring and happy, and we just wanted to kind of do something similar. So everyone likes a coffee break, everyone likes to chill and just hang out with people. All of our events are going to have our, Be Caffeinated coffee, morning bee pastries. And so when you, on the second Friday of every month, you're just going to go on a coffee break with some of your tribal friends. So
Yeah. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
we're excited.
Yeah. So it was really interesting to hear that feedback at the event. Like, I believe it was Charity that first brought up just the idea that networking has this connotation of feeling a little gross, little transactional. It's very much like, what can I get out of this? And one of the things she said that, and then it was echoed by like 2 or 3 other people that raised their
Aaron,
hands.
Delana.
Yeah, that all echoed the same thing. And if you're watching this, you may know kind of our heart and what we're hoping to do with lots of stuff. But the idea of our monthly coffee break is to put together business owners, nonprofits, musicians, artists, resources, essentially just bringing the actual community together, people that wouldn't normally be hanging out with each other, and get them to hang out with each other and see what awesome relationships and ideas and things get sparked because of it. And so hearing that now in context like networking, it doesn't seem to really fit that same definition of that image of people in suits trying to make a sale and it feeling kind of gross. And so that really got us going to the drawing board, and we thought of so many not great names, but they're a little too on the nose. But yeah, coffee break is the one where it feels right, it feels true and good to us.
And I think
better vibe.
I think we're coming at this as if it's a business, which it is. And as anyone starting a business should do, they should go and talk to their quote customers end quote first. And for us, it was some of the people that we love the values of and the philosophies and what they're already doing in the community, which is why they were our focus group. And then we heard loud and clear, hey, don't use the name you came up with, which was Gig City Networking. And obviously we were kind of like sad because we'd spent a lot of time already and built out a logo, have a URL. So if you want that URL, you can buy it from us. But no, it was really good because we had, instead of trying to do this for 6 months and then finding out, hey, I don't like that, started from the get-go. So now we can brand it correctly. And we got a ton of great feedback on what people actually like and don't like. And what I think it boils down to is, I think there's 2 types of networking. Would you guys agree? There's transactional networking and relational networking.
Yeah.
And I think transactional networking is immediately what everyone thinks of when they hear the word networking. And the way we work is very much relational networking. And so rather than try to explain that 100 times, per day, we're instead just going to scrap the name networking from our branding and just call it coffee break, community building, etc. I think it's exciting, and it'll be fun to see where it goes.
Nice. So speaking of seeing where it goes, I would love to hear and this would be really interesting too. We've talked about this a lot together, but I'm curious to see from your different answers if anything new shakes out. What is like the vision for Coffee Break? What is this vision for the more relational type of networking over time?
I think it's more about building the community we're talking about. Like at the baseline, it technically is still a networking event, but it's more about building the relationships instead of going in expecting something whenever you come out of it. The only thing you should be doing is going and expecting to meet friends, meet people you've never met before that are cool, that you can form relationships with and hopefully talk to again. Like you're coming there not to just have a one-time conversation with someone, but to build relationships that are repeating, where it's kind of just this feedback loop of just like information and resources and things like that you might need for your business or your project you're working on, but it's all like friendly and relational, not so much transactional from like a classic networking event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think what's really valuable about what we're doing is that we're trying to take a cross section from so many different areas and bring them all together. Because as much as we are small business owners and we work with small business owners, we work with local nonprofits. We work with local creatives, and those are people who we love getting to work with and getting to connect with people. And a lot of times they don't have those opportunities. Like a lot of nonprofit friends of ours, we take them to these more transactional networking events. They aren't getting anything out of it. They aren't making the connections that they need to make to really further the goals that they have. And same with like artists and musicians, a lot of them don't do great at these events. So we're trying to create something where all of these different people can come together and thrive, where they can have access to new resources, where they can more easily like find the right people that they're looking for, and where they also have people who can help with facilitating those connections. Because that's a big point that we heard of pain, is that people have a lot of anxiety with meeting new people, and a lot of times they have a lot of issues with like finding the right person. They can feel like they're getting bogged down in conversations that maybe aren't what they were looking for. So it's really about just like cutting out all of those pain points and getting this giant, huge breadth of like all these different kinds of people and helping them meet the people that they want to meet.
So vision of community, I kind of said this at the focus group thing too, but I just can't help but get excited when I think about people that wouldn't normally meet each other, meeting each other. And then all of a sudden, I want to hear the stories of, oh my gosh, I started this business, but I met my business partner at coffee break, a year ago, or, just all the cool things that can happen when that happens, where people, they're like, oh my gosh, I have this dream, this cause that I want to put forth. And then someone else is like, oh my gosh, I have the same dream. I just haven't known how to get started, or I needed XYZ. And then they are that for each other. And then who knows what gets birthed from that. And, just to be a little part of that, of like facilitating those relationships is really cool. I also think it would be really cool. This is on the bucket list of someone gets married because they've met their partner at a coffee break. I think that'd be really dope. And then ultimately, I think leading the way when it comes to showing how to network properly. So time and time again, it's the people that go for the sale, might get the occasional sale, but they burn like 9 bridges of people that don't want to talk with them ever again. If they do that every single time, it's not really great for the long term. But the thing is, you do business with people that you know, like, and trust. And so how do you do that? By like actually being people's friends. And then the people that aren't a good customer for you, like a client even, they're your friend, and they're more likely to refer you to other people. And it's just like so much more chill, so much more natural. And I really think it would be so much cooler if more people saw that as the way of like, hey, I'm going to invest in long-term relationships, and just know that if I'm doing cool stuff and I'm really being nice and being part of the community, then you're going to be fine. Like that, you're going to be so much more fine than the lone wolf who's trying to just like pick off sales one at a time, but then has no true friends at the end of the day.
Yeah. So at Be Caffeinated, we, our general manager, Tyler, started a nonprofit networking group that's met, I think, twice. And we kind of used that core group as some of this core group for coffee breaks. But it was insane to see, we had like 40 or 50 nonprofit leaders in the same room at Be Caffeinated North Shore, just making moves, meeting each other, making connections. And there's this amazing thing that happens when people are in a room together that are being community minded instead of selfish minded, and just all of these ideas happen. And there's been a few awesome instances where some of those leaders have come to us and said like, hey, this thing happened because of that networking group, or whatever it may be. And that's what we're looking for. We all kind of see it, or at least I do, as this giant board game or video game of person A either has this thing or needs this thing, and person B has the, opposite. And so you can just connect them to each other. Sometimes you are the person that has the thing or needs the thing, and that's cool, but that's not why you're there. Because the more you start collaborating and building that up, people get to know you and what you do, you get to know them and what they do. And then you have this like mental stockpile, this list of people you trust. That's why B&I work so well, is because they build this insanely tightly connected group that you meet literally every week, and you are constantly saying what you're looking for and what you do. And so when someone's like, man, I really need my carpet cleaned, you're like, oh yeah, Bob's Carpet Cleaners, bobcoppercleaners.com. I've heard that every week for the last 30 weeks. That's who you should talk to. And it builds that trust and rapport, and they want to do better with BNI clients because they don't want people to stop referring them. So that's the great part of the BNI. And like Chattanooga networking, you have this giant room of people that are just there to like have conversations and try and just like meet cool people. We love that aspect of it. We want to bring that. With the chamber, you just have kind of that array of the small business owners, the corporate business people, some nonprofits, some resources. They're all kind of rubbing elbows. We love that about it. So we just wanted to take all of our favorite parts of the networking groups that already exist, add our own little twist to it, which is including like local artists, local musicians, local creatives, and being really intentional about the nonprofits as well. Because that's where our heart lies and what we think. Chattanooga is already the highest per capita nonprofits to person in the United States. So why aren't we doing something that's specifically geared for that and making those connections? So we're really, really excited.
Yeah. So speaking of, you mentioned a bunch of the different ones. We've already mentioned Creative Mornings earlier in this episode, but a really cool thing, if you come to our first event, December 8th, Society of Work over on Somerville Avenue, the guys from Creative Mornings Chattanooga are going to come and speak on community, and they're going to get to share how they see building it, how they see that moving forward in the future. It's going to be a really great time. And so that's one of the things we're really excited about getting to do as well, is like learn from cool people who have cool things to share. Okay, so I want to move on to a fun one.
Oh, I think I forgot to share my vision.
Oh, okay. You go.
I kind of want to do everything we just talked about, but the part that I'm really excited about is at each event, we're going to have a artist set up, a musician playing the background music, local musician, a hopefully community resource set up, a nonprofit set up, and then maybe something else.
Like a business sponsor.
Like a business sponsor or something like that. So theoretically, if we can get where we want to go, every event, you can buy something from a local artist or connect with them. You can connect with a local nonprofit that's being highlighted and they have some sort of action item. You have the community resource that has something like, the SBDC, TVFCU, yada, yada, yada. You have like the business sponsor you can talk to. You have the musician that's playing that you can talk to about house shows. So it's literally just all of them there, and you get to hear them and talk to them and listen to them. And it ends with like a cool seminar from cool people, so you walk away with an action item. So we're trying to chalk these events with as much value as possible that is boosting up all of these local people as an insane amount as possible. And that's what I am so stoked about.
Yeah.
And that's my vision.
I love it. Yeah. And just thinking, like, if you're an artist that's up and coming, you haven't been out there and spreading your name very long, or you're a musician or business, etc., like that can go a really long way. If we have a big room full of people.
It's only $200 an hour to set up. No, I'm just kidding. It's all free too. That's the great part.
It's all free. No, that's beautiful. I love that. Okay. So moving on to a fun little conversation. We talked about this a little bit in our newsletter, but we're gonna see if we can even go further than that. When you're at events, no matter the event, and there's lots of people to talk to, that's really amazing and that's really cool. But sometimes you get caught up in a conversation that maybe it's even going well, but you had some other hopes and dreams. Maybe you saw some old friends walk in, you want to go say hi, or maybe you actually have to go to the bathroom, and then you need to gracefully break away from the conversation. I'm just curious to see what kind of tactics we can throw at them so that they can make some more graceful exits. I know, Chris, you've always had a few that I thought were really cool, and then maybe we can give them some bonus ones today.
So for my How I Met Your Mother fans out there, I call it the Have You Met Ted? So have you met Ted? So if you're, if I'm chatting with Dylan and we've had, our conversation, it's been great. It's kind of hit its, critical mass, but he's either anxious or doesn't want to talk to someone else, or, whatever the reason is, and I'm ready to move on or whatever that is. I see Nate over there and I'm like, huh. And so I say, Dylan, I'm like, Dylan, have you met Nate before? And you're like,
No,
probably not, because I would probably choose someone that I knew you hadn't met. So I say, all right, let's go over here. And so I come over and say, have you met Dylan? And I say, have you met Nate? I'm like, I think y'all are going to have a great connection. See you later. And I just walk away. And you get to like perpetuate the point of the group, which is not to just stand there and talk to the same person for 2 hours, but to, cross-pollinate. And if everyone feels good, no one feels awkward. The other person you're talking to is probably looking for a way out too, but they also don't know how to do it. So That's my favorite. Or the classic, like, hey, I need to go get more coffee or beer or whatever the chosen beverage is at the event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like the have you met link is also like, what if me and Nate got married? And then that's like the wish list,
the dream,
Yeah.
the bucket list is fulfilled.
Can help us set it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the other one, it's classic. So yeah, the refill on, whatever your beverages is huge. I also think the going to the bathroom one's really good. You probably just don't want to say that too loud, because if you need to use it multiple times, people are going to be like, wow, Michael really has to go to the bathroom.
It's like saying your grandparent died to get out of something growing up. Like, how many grandparents do you have?
Yeah, so that's a pretty good one. I love that one is, I think it's like one of the most powerful, is the have you met blank.
Mm-hmm. That one's the most useful or like helpful. I feel like I usually do the like if it's in mid conversation and it's like I've had to go to the bathroom before. I've just said, it's really great meeting you and I'd love to continue this, but I really have to go to the bathroom. And then I point to it so they know. And they watch me walk in, so it's like even if I didn't mean it, I can like walk in and just like peek out and like go back out and
flush the toilet even if you haven't used it.
I'm gonna be on the lookout at events looking for like Dylan's little head popping out.
That's what we should have at our networking event, like a person that's like only there to help you get out of conversations.
It's like in Unreasonable Hospitality, the book, at the 11 Madison Garden restaurant. They all the waiters communicate with like hand gestures behind their backs. It's like just a sign that's like, get me out of here.
Help. I'm stuck in a conversation.
You tug on your shirt, then Nate comes over and like spills a cup of coffee on you.
It's a great excuse because I have to go to the hospital now.
This one maybe is weird, but one I've used before was it's essentially the blatantly honest version without being a jerk, which is like, hey, I really enjoyed talking with you. I'd love to talk again some other time, but I promised myself when I came here that I would talk to a bunch more people, because I usually get stuck in one conversation because I love doing that. So great talking with you. Good luck as you keep talking to more people. And it's very honest, very straightforward, but it's always been well received. And then, or at least so it seems like on their face, maybe they hated it.
The real pro gamer move is to kind of do that and then pull out your card and be like, I've really enjoyed this and I want to continue this over coffee.
Exactly.
Let's connect after this via email and set something up, but I'm going to go talk to other people in case there's other people like you that I want to meet.
Yeah.
And then you just throw in all these compliments at them, make them feel valued and seen, because you don't want to make them feel bad. And a lot of times it's not even because you actually want to leave. It's just you're there to talk to as many people as possible. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like to do the one of like, this has been great, but I'm going to go talk to this person, not only because it's a way out of that conversation, but it means now I've got to go talk to that person. Even if like I didn't actually want to.
You look like a liar.
Exactly.
Verbal commitment.
So it's like,
good.
okay.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
side.
now I've made that commitment, so I got to go do it or I'm going to look stupid. So
I've got one kind of combining that with our Have You Met Ted? And I've used this one before, and that's also a pro gamer move, but you say, is there anyone here that you think I should meet? And would you mind introducing me to them?
That's huge.
And that one at least adds like a third person to the conversation. And who knows, they might be like, oh yeah, based on what we've been saying, I know the exact person that you need to talk to. And that one feels really good because then they get to kind of save the day. You get to at least change the dynamics of the conversation. A lot of times they'll peel out and go find someone else because they already know this person. So
I love that one. That one's really good. Nice.
Thank you.
I think that's a great list, and we broke our record. We broke what we said. We did 3 in the newsletter, and so that got us up to at least 5, maybe more. To close this off, we just would be remiss if we did not just blatantly invite you out, if you are in Chattanooga, to come out to the first coffee break event this Friday, December 8th, from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. More descriptions will be in the write-up of this podcast. Or if this is a clip on social media, you'll see it down in the captions below as well.
Or if you're seeing this after this week, it's going to be the second Friday of every month.
Yes.
Yeah.
Second Friday of every month.
Second
January
Friday of every
12th
month.
is the January one.
Love to see
Nice.
it.
So I want to end this with a question to us, or a challenge. So to you, the listener, watcher, whoever you are, I would love for you to comment or tell us what you think community is, and maybe some instances of awesome community that you've seen. And for us, I want our challenge to be, how do we want in 6 months for Coffee Break to be known as and to be? And I don't need an answer now necessarily, unless you're already like, yeah, I know 6 months from now. But I want us to think about that. Does anyone have an answer?
Hopefully,
that's
still
fine.
called Coffee Break.
I don't want to have to buy a third URL.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll noodle on it for sure. Nothing
Yeah.
right now.
Personally, I would love for it to be kind of in the same breath as just all the other networking groups in town. Even though they're like, this one's not technically a networking group, but it's right there with blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. From our focus group, we had multiple people that said that our focus group version of Coffee Break was their first time out to a networking event. And I think that was really cool that happened. So I would really love for in 6 months that is the story that a lot of people tell us, that they said, I don't usually come to events like these because I feel uncomfortable, but because you guys this event is really so like thought of that the whole way through, I felt so comfortable coming, and my friends just dragged me out like I had to come out. So I really think that people feel really comfortable and safe, and we hear that in the stories, and also that the driver is that your friends drag you out because you had to come.
I hope that in 6 months we're seeing our first major success of people getting together and doing something really cool because of our event. Whether that's the marriage thing that Michael talked about, or it's just like we're seeing like a nonprofit and business partner together at a time when they really needed that or something like that. That'd be so cool to see like a real impact in the community because of something that we made.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this makes me think that in the future, as we have more of these, we should add a little segment into Coffee Break potentially where we share a cool story from something that happened where people met each other and something cool came from it, just to inspire other people to dream as big as they can when they come to these and say like, what if this is the day that could change my life because I met the right person?
Yeah, that's community.
Mm-hmm. I have a fun question. So we talked about ways to break off to talk to other people at events like these, but as an introvert, I get like exhausted sometimes having to talk to other people, or not having to, but speaking with other people, where I need like maybe like a few minutes to just break and be by myself to recharge and continue. Any tips on breaking away from a conversation to go and do nothing?
Absolutely. So at this place called Coffee Break, we're going to have some tables set up with nonprofit resource, like nonprofit information, community resources, small business details. But yeah, no, that would be a good time to go do one of those.
I'll go check out the artist booth.
Go check out the artist booth, the musician, talk to them. But I will say, so I've adapted this new rule for myself at networking events, and it's kind of changed my life networking wise. And it might be kind of what you're looking for. So I have a question for you first though.
Yeah.
Is the introverted hard part talking to someone you don't know very well, or talking in general?
It's worse whenever it's someone I don't know very well, but also talking
Also in general. Okay, so for the first one, my new rule is kind of the 80-20 rule, kind of what a lot of people say. But in the context of this, it's 80% of the conversations I have, I want to be with people that I already know, that I'm comfortable with, that I'm just catching up with, whatever it may be. And then I want 20% to be with people I've never met before, because it takes a lot of pressure off of me. It lets me be as introverted as I want to be and only talk to mostly people I like. And then here's the trick. The next time, those 20% are part of the 80%, because you've already made that relationship. You made that connection. And so you're just constantly building this network, and then it gets less and less and less awkward because you already know these people. So you don't have to do the small talk because you already did it in your past 20% from another thing.
True.
So that's like how I've kind of changed my thing. We do a ton of networking events. It's like the coffee. And so now I'm like, instead of challenging myself to just talk to as many people as possible, I'm like, you can talk to the people you know, but you have to at least talk to one or two new people, because the next time they're people that you know. That helps me.
Yeah, we got to clip that for some content.
Nice.
That's good. Coffee break sensory room.
What about you guys?
I kept almost laughing because I was thinking that. It's like, we're going to have the sensory room. But, okay. Yeah. Okay, serious moment. Yeah, I don't have this problem. Let's see.
What if like you didn't have anyone to talk to, What would you do?
Like it's a networking
By
event, but it's
yourself.
just you. Yeah, what if?
you're the only one that showed up? Tell us, Nate.
So I will say,
networking
for me, when I have got a little overwhelmed from networking too much and I need a break before I can go back in and talk, I just do what we all do nowadays with culture, is that I find somewhere to go and then I pull up my phone and I just assume that people are thinking, oh, he had to step away to make some important text or deal with something or put out some fire. But really, I'm just like looking at my phone to like take a moment.
Or you could take a call,
Yeah.
be like, yes, Johnson, you really need to do that. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Just say whatever you want. And there's no one on the other end.
Yeah. And depending on the venue, if it's really easy just to walk outside and walk back in, you literally just walk outside, like use I got a call thing, or just look like you're putting out a fire, and then just go literally take a moment outside and like literally breathe fresh air. And
I did that at Fiamma.
Mhm.
I went outside for like 5 or 10 minutes 'cause it was so hot inside. I just needed to cool down. And Chaz saw me and came out and was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm just like really hot," which the beer didn't
Yeah, you
help.
are.
But
yeah.
thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something we can think on is a solution at coffee breaks for people that want a minute to not be talking to someone. That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah.
Call it the
Recharge.
isolation station.
Nice. Cool. That's all I got. You got, boys, anything?
I've got so much, but we're gonna cut it here just
Yeah.
because we need to
We need to.
move on.
Yeah.
And go
Awesome.
go have a coffee break.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Michael Arzabal.
Chris Wood.
Nate Tucker.
And I've been Dylan Wizenat.
We'll see you on the next one. Hopefully, if you're watching this in real time when it comes out, hopefully we'll see you on Friday.
We're gonna break your coffee.
Goodbye.